Hi everybody, welcome back. When we left you last week, we had an incident with the crane where we snapped the main lifting cable. Well, we still have work to do, so with the crane out of commission until my new steel cable comes into the supply house, I'm using the excavator. I don't mind at all getting back in the saddle as I love this excavator. It's the workhorse of the site and this build, and I love putting it back into play. It does a fine job of lifting the 2 or 3 timbers at a time, and we get them placed up top, and I can move forward with what we got to do. What do we have to do? Well, we have a lot of staining and sanding. No planing, because the planing has all been done. We've got the timbers largely down to size, but ahead of us for the next week is sanding and sealing. Right. Lots of it. Well, we managed to get the bent number 2 sticks up here to a working level, assembly level, but it has clouded over and it's starting to rain right now. This one's ready anytime. B-chan, you really destroyed that brush. Okay, well, the rain has officially stopped, and it looks like sunshine is going to be with us for the rest of the day. I hope, fingers crossed, knock wood. Okay, well, there's some tongue oil over there already in the bucket. Why don't you go work on that? We seem to be going through these sanding strips really quickly, and it's the glue that is, coming apart. So we're letting it sit and cool for a little while. Okay. Well, Bee has had a good day. She went for a walk and she chewed my paintbrush stick to death. So that's a good thing. Imy's raincoat method seems to have worked a little bit, but maybe not as much as we all hoped. And now she's busy putting some tung oil on the tie beams. It's nice and quiet right now. It's just after 4 o'clock. Days are getting longer. Imy left a few minutes ago. She's got to get supper started, so I let her off early. I'm going to finish sealing this one post, and then I've still got 4 more tomorrow to sand and seal, and then we're finished with bent number 2. Okay, we're both at it again this morning. Imy's up working on bent number 3. And I wanted to just give you a brief summary for all the spec nerds out there of what we're doing in terms of sanding and sealing. So we're using the belt sander to do 2 passes on each side with an 80 grit sandpaper. And then we switch to 120. So 2 passes with 80 grit, then 2 more passes with 120 grit. And then we wipe it down, and then we move it over to the sealing station. And at the sealing station, we put on a coat. We let it dry for about, I don't know, however long. And then we wipe it off, and then we put on a second coat. Same thing, dry, and then wipe it off. The sealer that we're using is 100% pure tung oil cut with paint thinner. And originally I was cutting it like 75% tung oil, 25% thinner, and I realized that's way too thick. So I changed it to about 50-50, and we'll probably do 50-50 for the whole bit. So after it gets 2 coats applied and wiped off, we let it sit. And then what we decided to do is we go back with the orbital sander with, I think we've got 120 grit and we've got 240 also, but we tried 120 only, and that seemed just completely satisfactory. So we do 1 more quick pass with 120 grit orbital sander, wipe it down, put on some sealant again, let it sit for an hour, and then wipe it off. And that is going to be our final finish, we think. Okay. We just did a test on the, quick orbital sanding, wipe it off, put on some sealant, wipe it off, and it is as smooth as a baby's bottom. Really nice finish. So that's the process for sanding and sealing. So much of this house building seems like just basic construction. It's, put a hammer to a nail type of activity. It's not inspiring, it's methodical, it's practical, it's ordinary, it's necessary. But I just get this feeling when I'm putting the oil on this wood and seeing the grain pop that this is exciting. This is going to be in our home. We're going to be able to look at these grain patterns for the next 20 or 50 years. Maybe closer to 20, and that's really exciting. It's very stimulating. I haven't felt that too many times. When we finished the foundation, there was a surge of that kind of pride. But now I'm feeling it again, and it's very exciting. It's motivating. surprised that like this, one of the guys who lives up in Izumo again. Is it Izumo again? The end of a wonderful day. Imy's off taking B for a little walk. Tomorrow we come back, we finish off this. It is wipe, sand, final coat, and wipe, and then they're done. We've also got the first of the girts up here. We actually have to do 7 girts before we stand up the bents, because the girts will attach the bents one to the other. But anyway, it's just been a wonderful day. Let's do this all again tomorrow. As you can imagine, supplies for building a house can get expensive. I was looking at long screws. I've got these 6-inch screws here that I need for the rafters, and I need about 250 of them. I went online, and the most well-known name is Simpson in North America, and they were about 250 yen per piece here to buy them here in Japan. So I went to my local supply house, and I found them for 110 yen per piece. Huge savings. So I thought, well, I'm just going to have to buy them from the local supply shop. Then I went online and I found them for 50 yen a piece. Exact same, actually not the exact same one, they actually have a nice bigger head. I bought some scaffolding well over a year ago when I still had a paycheck. And I bought it because I know I'll need it when I'm doing the inside of the house, as well as, you know, part of the structure. I don't really know how I'll use it, but it's always going to be useful. We're probably standing at 3 meters, so reaching probably to 5 meters if I'm standing on top of this, which is a good height. I mean, perfect. It'll get me up to the very top of the tie beams and get me up to the top when I'm doing the ceiling and roofing structure too. Looks stable enough. Regular scaffolding. Works a treat. Didn't cost me very much. Bought it on auction. That's a first for me in Japan. I've never seen scavengers hard at work on corpses. Okay, so it's a cloudy day. I don't expect rain. My finger joint is not acting up today, so I don't expect it to rain. Amy and I were up here yesterday, and there was no rain mark in the forecast. And of course, as soon as we got here, it started raining. So we spent 2 or 3 hours just kind of building a fire and staying warm by the fire. I did a couple of tenons and got something done anyway, but it was pretty much a wasted day. So I'm up here alone today, just rinse and repeat, making the tenons, sanding the wood, sealing it, sanding it, sealing it, blah blah blah. Okay, we're back after the rain. The raw, untreated wood is completely covered still. My treated wood is beating very nicely, which means it's got a good solid seal on it. The majority of it has remained covered. I'll just roll these logs a little bit, get the plastic off of them, get the Tyvek off of them, roll them, and let them drip dry for a while. We've got a beautiful day ahead. It's going to be 15 degrees today with no wind and no clouds. We are going to be baking. I could be wearing my shorts up here today. So, I was wondering, how much we have to do. We made some great progress today. We have finished all of the bents. The last 3 posts of bent number 1, I still have to do a final rub down and then move them up here for storage before we leave tonight. Amy's just picking up and cleaning up around the place because we're going to batten down the hatches, cover everything again. I think there's going to be a little bit of rain tomorrow or the next day. So next thing we're going to do is bring up the girts. We're going to give them a couple of quick coats of tung oil, and they'll be done. They're really planed well, very, very smooth, because I was using brand new blades on the planer. So the girts are, 3/4 done right now, and they just need some oil, some seal to keep them healthy and happy for years. But we'll get the girts done, and then it's assembly. We start assembling with bent number 2, put it on the ground, put it together. We put number 3 on top of it. We put number 4 on top of those two, and then we put number 1 on top of everything. One of the challenges coming up is preparing the girts in advance. We have all threaded rod going through posts and plates into the girts. And so we need to have a hole drilled into the girts, and we have to have a window in each girt for a nut and a washer. Anyway, it'll make much more sense when you see it in practice, but we're almost there, folks, almost there.